Now, it's easier to say what my next guest hasn't done than to list his achievements. He hasn't climbed Everest or captained England at cricket, had a record in the top 10, or a dalliance with Edwina Curry, so far as we know. Nor was he the fifth Beatle, but for the rest, he's been there and he's done that. Ladies and gentlemen, Stephen Fry.
Bless you.
Bless you. You're not in the Curry Diaries, are you, by any chance?
That was a major cock-up, wasn't it?
Sorry,
Sorry about that.
No, all right. Well, shall we move on?
Yes, I think we should.
I know I'm embarrassing you. Although I do read here in your back leaf of your book here, where you're talking about the sexual habits of the spectacled bear, which, of course, you've written about.
Yeah.
But you say of Stephen Fry's sexual habits, you say, subject to much speculation amongst scholars and gossip mongers, the mating ritual, which is remarkably noisy, lasts 14.5 years and makes a great deal of mess.
Yes.
So possibly Edwina got away with it, did she?
She did, yes. She doesn't know how lucky she was. Well, I feel if you're going to write about bears and their intimate personal habits, it's only fair that one should write about one's own as well, because it is an extraordinary thing about animals that we belong to the same kingdom as animals. There's the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom, and are we not animals?
Many ways.
Some
yes.
furrier than others, as you made that very point. And,
send it out. Send the love out now.
there's a lot of fuss made about how similar we are to animals. Mm-hmm. We have our drives and urges.
Yeah, and I need to... Well, the only thing we don't do is smell each other's asses to say, hi, how are you? I do, but that's...
Yeah, I'm going to say it. We're off for a minute, though.
How have you been? Still a vegetarian,
absolutely spot on. But it is... Christ almighty. Do you know, this man in the 80s, when it was fashionable, before anyone knew that it was dangerous, used to take large quantities of cocaine. I'm just trying to imagine what speed you were running at. It must have been. There was an episode of Star Trek where everybody lived faster and there were just little noises in people's ears. You must have been like that.
Yeah, it was a frightening thing. And impotent, too, which was a double bill.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, fast and dead. Assault with a dead weapon, yeah.
Was that your cocaine is God's way of telling you you're earning
making too much money, yeah.
That was yours.
And it was my accountant's wet dream, too. All right, Mr. Williams, I can't write off $50,000 for snacks. Columbian College Fund, yeah.
Didn't you call it once the devil's dandruff?
Oh, yeah. The dancing powder, the wonderful joy, the Peruvian marching dust.
Yes.
Yeah. How are you doing? How are you doing? I'm not bad. How are you doing? Okay, get off me! Okay, Mr. Bush, we have to go talk to the people now. Fine. Fine, I'm okay. Now, Dad, can I call my dad? No, Mr. Bush, we can't call your father. Oh, come on. Can we bomb yet? No, that's why Cheney has the codes. That's why... That's why Dick has the codes.
He's good. He's very good, isn't he?
He's very good.
This talk of Peruvian dancing powder brings us very neatly to my book, which is set in Peru. A Peruvian diary.
And if you could close in and see the lovely teats on this bear.
Look at that.
She's right now in Play Bear. Who wants to hibernate? Who's your alpha?
Yeah. But certainly a fulsome pair of fun bags, as you say.
Yes.
And,
You're not going to get a collar on that bitch.
This is the story of your search for these spectacled bears in Peru and beyond. And a successful search it was too, because they're becoming extinct. Yeah?
They are. I've never really been the kind of person who's been associated either in my own mind or anybody else's with ecological quests and television documentaries following animals. And apart from anything else, I'm someone who more or less relies on room service and broadband internet access in hotel rooms and so on. And you don't get this too often in Lima and points north in the Andes. But I have to say, the producers of this programme, who wanted to do a programme about Paddington Bear, who, if you remember, came from darkest Peru.
That's right.
And I got hooked on these extraordinary, endearing creatures. These bears. Most Peruvians don't know that there are bears in Peru. They're so shy. And it is one of the things, a point I was struggling to make earlier about animals, is that we are so interested in them. You know, we chase them in order to look at them and photograph them. But no animal, unless it's hungry, is interested in us. And it occurred to me, we're always trying to define what it is that human beings have that animals don't, you know, consciousness, wit, self-awareness, or whatever one tries to call it. But it is actually interest in other animals. I mean, essentially, a bear doesn't give a cuss as to whether or not kangaroos exist. And kangaroos don't care whether there's such a thing as a cockroach. But we care about all of them. And it's a most remarkable thing. And I think what it is, of course, is that in a sense, Genesis is right. We are so guilty. Because I once went to look at gorillas, and it's the same with bears. And you realise what's magical about them is that when they wake up in the morning, a bear does not say, oh, God, I was a very bad bear yesterday. I'm guilty. They don't feel guilty that they possess organs of sexual generation, for a start. They don't feel they should wear clothes.
They never ask another bear, you're seeing another animal.
No, exactly. They don't. They have none. They just spend 100% of every minute of every hour of every day being a bear. And a tree frog spends all its time being a tree frog. We spend all our time trying to be somebody else. You know, trying to be like the person next door, the person on television, the person in the movies, the person on Pop Stars, the Rivals, or whatever. We're trying to be somebody else. Yes. And animals supremely are themselves. And no one is more themselves than a bear. I think that's why Winnie the Pooh and Paddington and so on are so endearing, especially with the British spirit, because they're rather stout and dignified and slightly raffish and a little bit rumpled and slightly annoyed at things.
Is that how you see yourself?
More or less, yes. More or less. So I'm not very hairy at all, no. In fact, did you know bear is, in fact, it's a sort of gay thing, you know.
What is?
Well, I looked up.
We'll be right back.
Yes, sorry. But, you know, I'm not entirely unaware of many of the nuances of the gay community.
Bears and cubs.
Well, that's just it.
Yes,
and so when I first did this documentary, I wanted to look up. I wanted to look up bears. I don't mean that, obviously. That's just silly.
Going, what are you doing?
That's just silly.
This week, bear gynecology.
But on the internet, and so everything said the bear cave, everything one knew about bears, and it was a lot of very hairy men with pink objects sticking out of their nether areas.
You found that online?
Yeah, I found it online. What I couldn't find was anything about bears. About real bears, ursine bears, the Tremarctos ornatus, which is the spectacled bear. So cool because it has little markings around its eyes.
What do they... You said that they're unaware in Peru of the existence of these bears. Yeah. And watching the film that you made, it seemed to me that they were indifferent to their fate as well. I mean, what do they make of you, this sort of mad Englishman coming there to fight a crusade on behalf of an animal that they thought was... Well, just a wretched animal, basically.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is
that
the thing
conflict, isn't there, sensibility?
Their understanding of human beings is a pretty dim one, because the only way you can find a bear... We had a natural history crew which for months was tracking the droppings, as these people like to do. They like to go chasing the droppings and seeing where they've eaten, and they couldn't find one. The only ones we could find are ones that had been captured and put in zoos and awful little private zoos. The most
that awful restaurant where you found two of the bears.
Yeah.
And that wonderful condor, too. That's, in many ways, in the film, the most tragic side. This majestic bird.
Oh, in a restaurant? They had him strapped?
They had him in a cage
outside the restaurant.
Bigger than our chair, actually. Tethered. This thing is...
Can't talk to a bird. I want to show you the bird. And it's in the back and just like...
Do you know there's the line of William Blake's A Robin Redbreast in a cage puts all heaven in a rage?
Yes.
And I think it's a beautiful line. There's that wonderful sort of naivety and perfection that Blake managed. But a condor is kind of a symbol both of the whole South American continent and of, you know, all the cliches, soaring, majestic.
And it's one of the great creations when you look at it.
It's a wingspan like
brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, and there it is.
12-foot wingspan.
Yeah. And this awful thing, this sandbird set there tethered, and he'd never flown. He couldn't have flown. He couldn't fly at all in there, could he?
No.
Why have a bird like that? I don't know. Anyway.
And Peru, just to rave about Peru for a second, because it's an astonishing country. It has more terrains in it than any other country on earth. You go, and at the same time it takes you to fly from London to Edinburgh, you go over a Pacific coastline, which is like, you know, California or something. It's a Pacific coastline, over highlands and glens that are over what looks like alpine scenery, and then over the second highest mountain range in the world, and then down over these extraordinary high plateaus into Amazonia, into this
jungle.
place where, you know, Peru has 55% of all species of birds in it. I mean,
We
it's
also have the
just
largest guinea pig. What is that?
Oh, the huge, yes, the little koi.
Yeah, but there's one that's like, it's used as a food source, but it's like, it's giant. It literally look at other guinea pigs like, what are you looking at? Yeah, it's
And
like,
they have
it's like the steroid guinea pig, but
Pink dolphins.
yeah.
Pink river dolphins, who the local people rather conveniently believe dress up in evening dress in the evenings and a top hat and ravish the women, so that when there is
The famous drag dolphin.
when there is an unlooked
Slowly
for
we go upstream and look for the pearl necklace. There they are. The drag dolphin savaging the women slowly but surely. We're
Exactly.
finding the evening gown.
You're right.
Edith Head dolphin.
You're right. You're mad, but you're right. And it's it's sorry. I was. If there's an unlooked for pregnancy in the middle of Amazonia,
They look for a dolphin?
They say it was the dolphin. He came in the evening.
How's the baby?
Yeah. It's pink and it stands upright.
But you rescued a bear.
I have to say, you are worth every penny of that 80 million that EMI are going to pay you. I think
That's right.
every penny.
That's all right. Watch out, Mariah Carey.
But you had, I mean, so the story ending is a good one because you've mated two. Have they procreated?
Well, what we have is this webcam. We found this little bear in a cage, but no bigger than this really. Been all its life in there. It was called by the villagers, who are hundreds of miles from civilization. It was called Yogi, which shows how far the cancer of your noxious culture has spread, even into the most far-flung world.
Boo-boo, don't be mad at
Could have been Boo-Boo.
Boo-boo, come on, Boo-boo, come on. Yeah, Scooby.
Yeah.
Come on, Scooby, hello, come here.
That dog was called Scooby. It's all shocking. But anyway, this Yogi, we took to this marvellous reservation in Aguascalientes at the foothills of the wonderful Machu Picchu Indian city, Amerindian city. And then we found this female, and we introduced them to each other. And they fell startlingly in love. It was quite an
That's a
extraordinary
lucky
sight.
thing, because sometimes, like when they had the panda, Ling Ling the panda, they brought her a mate, and she looked like, oh, please. and he looked at her like, you are ugliest panda bitch I have ever seen. It's like, you know, you have to find a panda, and they're very particular, you know, and pretty medicated too. But
Well, they probably don't know they're pandas, do they?
yeah, they're probably going, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, that's right.
There's something
They're
that looks
zookeepers. That's all they ever see. So
Where's your food?
exactly. But they just smelt each other and fell completely in love. And so we have a webcam, which is what the internet is for, to watch live shagging, and that's what we do.
Live bear
naked-
shagging?
Yeah, exactly.
Talk to a naked bear.
So you can watch them.
976 Cub.
So and this book is all proceeds are for your Bear Foundation now.
They are indeed. We founded
does-
this charity to help keep these little darlings alive, and it's working very well.
Did you take to the jungle, to the manor born?
Absolutely. Can't you see it in me? Can't you see it
Well,
in me?
there's a couple of pictures in the book. Let's have a look at one of them. There.
Yeah, you see?
Now, that is totally unconvincing, Fry. It really is. Let's have a look at the next one, please. Now this is more like... Now, Robin, if you didn't know who Stephen was, and somebody said to you, what nationality is that man there? You'd say English, wouldn't you?
No, New Zealand.
No, New Zealand.
You see?
No, New Zealand. It's got right there. Looks, you know, he's out there. No worries. Come on there. Come on, straight out.
I'm a wild animal, and you know, you've done these nature things.
Oh, yeah.
The pipe is it's not just a quiet contemplative moment after breakfast when you rub your flake and you have a smoke, but it keeps the mosquitoes away, and you get respected by the local people. So it's really nice.
And when you smoke a local leaf, when you have the local leaf, the Herbalife rep comes to help you, and you smoke, and you can see the bear any time of the day. That's a good thing. That's why, you know. People said, how did you build Machu Picchu? I said, take a cocoa leaf, you got a running start. You know, it's quick that way. You know, a lot of people don't know that you come to Peru.
They do. You have tea. You do drink cocoa, though. It's quite legal to drink it as a tea.
As a tea, and really,
got
how are you? I've been awake now for 4 days.
It really doesn't do that to you, Michael. And
No, Michael. Not at all. Oh, Michael, and if you want some, we have in the back.
And if there are any young people watching, for God's sake,
Just say no to tea.
go into improvised comedy, whatever. You see the result.
Just see the result. See how ugly it can get.
I've unleashed a beast.
Too late now.
Indeed. All right, so you're now directing your first movie, aren't you? Yet another string to your bow.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
Is this kind of a kind of frantic chase to do as many things you possibly can before you cross to the further shore?
Before I die of death.
Yeah.
Yes. It is, to be perfectly honest, it absolutely is. Some people are unaware of death. I'm constantly aware of death, or at least constantly aware of a moment just before death when I say to myself, well, bugger, why didn't I do that? Why did I say no to whatever it is? There's a famous Arnold Baxter remark, in this life you should try everything except incest and country dancing.
Well, in some places in Arkansas, you can have both.
Yes. No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Get off me, Paul. You're crushing my smokes. Back to directing.
Yeah, on that issue, exactly.
Back to film.
Yeah, I just
Give it a test.
you get the opportunity and embrace it, I say.
It's an adaptation of Vile Bodies.
Of Vile Bodies by Evelyn Moore, yes. It's called Bright Young Things. It's which
originally it was called that.
It was original idea for a title, but it rapidly became a sort of journalistic cliche, or like It Girl or something. It suddenly became the phrase everyone used, and I think he felt it was a bit beneath his dignity to call a literary novel Bright Young Things, so he changed it to Vile Bodies, and I think Bright Young Things is better. It is a generation of high-living, fast-living, cocaine-snorting, cocktail-sucking, dancing, to incredibly fast music. It is very exciting to do a film which, although it's if you want to call it a literary adaptation, which I don't, it is also, it's fast and extraordinary. The pace of it, mostly when people do period films, they tend to slow everything down as if people lived at a much slower pace.
Yes.
And this is the generation that invented everything we think of as modern. What the story centres around is photojournalism, what we would now call paparazzi, gossip columnists, fame, fast cars, telephones, incredibly important. War was very proud of the fact it was the first novel in which people used the telephone. You see the parents' generation used the telephone to say, I'll have some of that fish. From their fishmonger, and then they put the phone down. But these people were lying on the bed, proposing to each other and so on. And it was shocking, much in the way to some, the way young people text now is shocking. So, and drugs and drink and crashing and burning and night clubbing in particular were all invented in this insane decade. And it was done, like all pioneers do, it was done with more zest, more insanity, more suicidal tendencies, and above all with more style, I suspect, than it is now.
Well, the style is...
Though we will only be able to judge that in the future. I dare see people saying, oh, UK garage two-step hip-hop, what a stylish era that was. And it's highly possible they will.
I don't think so.
Oh, maybe not. Who are we to say?
Is there a part for Mr. Williams in your...
Well, I've cast a statutory American... no. Dan Aykroyd, who's much in your field, is playing a character loosely based on Lord Beaverbrook, and of course Dan Aykroyd is Canadian, so it's rather appropriate. Yes. But if he falls out for some reason or asks for too much money, I will be the first to ask Robin if he knows anybody.
Come work for Scale, my friend.
Exactly. But
are you enjoying the business of directing, though? I mean, it's a daunting prospect, isn't it? You are the field marshal. I mean, you're not just one of the troops.
At the moment, we're in pre-production. We start actual principal photography. It's grandly known in about 3 weeks. It's the fact that every day I get up at about 6 to get to our production office, and nice and early, and I get very sort of hyper and excited and write down notes about things, and then people start sort of coming in by 7. Everyone's mad keen and fantastically talented design departments and production departments and everything, and I get shown things all the time. Here are 7 cigarette cases, which one for this character, which one for that character. Here are cigarette holders, here are shooting sticks, and then suddenly, my mind is reeling about which cigarette case was going to which character. Suddenly someone comes in and talks about music. How much, do you want a live band in this scene? How many in the orchestra? And so on. Suddenly your whole life is revolving around the music in the film. And then suddenly the cameraman and the operator will come in and they'll start talking about shots. And then you're driven off to a recce to look at a location. And so every day is divided into these extraordinarily intense slices. And I'm absolutely loving it. I just get desperate when I hear about some really good film like yours that's open and there's a good director out there, because you go, I don't want anybody. I want every film that is made from now for the next year to be appalling. I mean, so dreadful that mine might be watchable. But I keep hearing about these wonderful films, and it's just slightly despairing. But I'm looking forward enormously to the...
And when will that be out? Next year sometime?
Yes, next year. Yes.
Well, you've got 2 films out. You've got Insomnia out as well.
You're a whore.
I am so.
Really? You'll swing your handbag on any street.
Yes. Look, well, quickly, we'll go to the opening of an envelope. Yeah, there's Insomnia, 1 hour photo, and the sequel to Insomnia, Incontinence, which is... just when you thought it was safe.
You mentioned in passing Goodwill Humping, and is there
Oh, every time. I thought there would never be...
You know, the reference was the fact that every hit film that's made, there's a porn equivalent that plays on the title.
Shaving Ryan's Privates.
That's what I was going to mention. I love that.
I thought when they made Crouching Tiger, they could never make a porno version of that, like Hung Fu. No, but they actually made Crotchless Tiger, Something's Dragon.
Oh,
it's like you went, oh no, every movie, Romancing the Bone.
Yes, absolutely.
They have all of them. It's every movie comes out, they make a porn version of it, which is great too. They never make a classical porno movie though, which is so that's the way you like it. You know, really hardcore Shakespearean actors going, I will part you like the Red Sea, Elizabeth. Till the cock does crow, you shall know my name. Be not knowing but this, Uncle Feasty, not doing and pulling that gentle thing and calling my wand and glaze you like a Danish. Do you not know me?
Glaze you like a baby.
Spring up and wiener! Run upon the idiot cock, oh no, I sleep, till the major doth become mine, have you not known? Speak to me and run, gentle moose, not call your name. Go, O pinch-faced one, O giant rat, and call me not, till Tony Blair doth say the word, and George be not going into the bush, we shall.
Oh, what a dear me. Oh, dear me.
Classical porn.
Classical porn. Sounds like a CD, classical porn. Well,
it's been fun. It's been terrific.
Oh, well, we're back.
back on planet Earth.
It's nice to be the quiet one.
Right, it must be a long time since you've been the quiet one in any kind of...
I'm normally a man of few words, as you know. And but Mr. Loggeria here, it's fantastic.
Please help the Loggeria telethon. Loggeria, go away. I am Sam.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. It's terrific. I mean, good God. How many are born of your... I mean, it's a gene pool. You have children.
When the gene pool's a jacuzzi, this is what you get. You have children, yes. You have spawn, yes.
There must be a Robin Lamb somewhere where there are more of you where you can, you know...
There's others who speak this language. There's others who shuffle to the beat of your drummer.
It is fantastic.
God bless.
The extraordinary thing is I've followed you enough to know that it's so fast that people assume it must be learnt, or that, I said this before at the dinner party, so I'm going to say it again, but I swear to you, these things come out just... It's a kind of work of art.
Know what he's doing.
And like a lot of art, it is deeply disturbing and often slightly... But it is also fantastic.
Dear Mrs. Picasso, Pablo still won't play with the others.
Well, actually, there's a line called Plays, actually, you know, which... When he was asked how he constructed a picture, he said, I take a line for a walk. And that's exactly
wonderful.
what you do, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right.
Take a line for a walk.
I take a joke for a walk, abuse it and bring it home.
It's like jazz, isn't it? It's riffing. You call it riffing.
But he does the same thing.
He does exactly the same thing.
Yeah, you riff off.
Just that tonight he wasn't able to get a word in.
He did. He got it in.
But anyway, so back to this then. Yeah. So all the proceeds for your book go to that cause, and we look forward to good news.
Yes,
in the future.
Absolutely.
You make an announcement to the effect that there's been issue has been arranged.
We will. You'll be able to see the birth and the bloody membranous sac on the internet if you choose to look at it.
Excellent.
www.bearrescue.tv.
Yes.
/membranous sac.
Just wanted to say, I just heard this the other day. It's a rather sweet story. It's not funny, but it's rather sweet. You know, there is this domain, as they're called, .tv, which we have on bearrescue.tv. It's from the island of Tuvalu, which is a tiny little island Why do I say tiny like that? No, it's a tiny little island.
Tiny, tiny word.
That's right. It's a tiny little island. One of the near the Cook Islands, and it was dirt poor, like so many are. You know, just sort of blowing, you know, sort of fertilizer sacks and horrible signs of modern man having come and raped it of its minerals and its fruits, and then just buggered off again, leaving a rather disgruntled people. But now it has hospitals and roads and libraries, and it's shining with wealth because, just through this ludicrous accident, that its domain initials are TV. And all media all around the world have paid top dollar, as they say, to have, so they can have, you know, if you wanted to, it could be www.parkinson.tv. You could buy it, and the money would go, because they very cunningly didn't sell it to some shyster who had spotted it before them.
They kept it as their own domain.
So
That's
it's
wonderful.
cute.
That's right, they
It's
make
just
the
weird.
money off it.
And so the nearby islands of Rumbalumba or whatever are really thinking, you know, why did God...
Why can't we call our island Com?
Yeah, thank you.
Our island is www. We had www long time before that with the island of the stuttering people. And the island of Com and the island of www. Come and give me dot. What's the island of dot. Every time you use a dot, you can pay us money. And a dot, di ba bo wega www.com, com. Slash. What's the name? At. The island of At. Where are you? At god.com. Thank you, I love you too.
You remind me of the comic version. There was a famous Don at Cambridge who was said to know everything. And people get really pissed off because there was no subject they could raise without which he couldn't join in. And he, of course, no, but you're in a comic version. So they got together, what even it's not, and when he was sort of sitting near them, they said, well, that's astonishing news from the Danish Football League, isn't it? And he leant forward and said, yes, who would have believed that Elsinore would have been beaten by Copenhagen United like that? Quite extraordinary, isn't it? But of course, they've just done the transfer, and he knew everything about the Danish Football League, so they just, as it were, ripped up every idea and gave it away. And I dare say, if we could have a competition, if someone in the audience could shout out a subject on which Robin could not discourse until you either wet yourself or had a baby or vomited with laughter. Can you think of one? Within obvious.
Well, we've
Too late now.
There isn't one, is there?
The producer's going, how much money have we raised? The Logorrhea Foundation.
Yeah.
.net.
And here's that fish. Good boy, good boy. Yeah.
Stephen Fry. Thank you very much indeed. Stephen
Thank you
Fry.
very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, thanks to my guests, Stephen Fry and Robin Williams. Next week, my guests are Paul Whitehouse, Gillian Anderson, Paul O'Grady, and Madness.